Welcome back. We're here for some more networking fundamentals. Hopefully you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. It's not too much, too little, just right. Again, referencing Thomas's comments earlier about a hug of knowledge as we present more and more of this to you over the next couple of modules. We're going to dive right into our module 2. We're going to start talking about the OSI model today, and I'm going to hand it right off.
Okay, so module 2, defining networks with the OSI module. Again, let's talk about skill concepts for purposes of testing. The skills and concepts here are understanding OSI basics, defining the communications subnetwork, and defining the upper OSI layers, and defining the communications subnetwork. Standards. So we talked earlier about the English language. And because the English language has rules, that gives Christopher and I the ability, since we've grown up in different parts of the country, to still be able to communicate effectively. And maybe English speakers from other areas, we can still communicate effectively with those people. Standards allow devices, different manufacturers for hardware and software to be able to create hardware and software that intercommunicate. There are a set of rules that ensure this communication. Some examples of organizations that coordinate standards include the International Organization for Standards, the ISO. Now you may think, hey, International Organization for Standardization, ISO, well, that doesn't match up. Well, actually, since it's international, different countries have different names for this, so they've just standardized on the ISO format. And this is basically Federation of Standards from multiple nations, as I said. The American National Standards Institute, or ANSI, responsible for coordinating and publishing computer and information technology standards in the U.S., and then finally, the IEEE, International Electrical and Electronics Engineers, professional organization for the electrical and electronics field. People probably have heard of IEEE 802.3 or IEEE 802.
There's 802, really.
802.
There's a whole suite of standards within the 802 standard that we use all the time.
Correct.
Wireless, biggest one probably right now.
Wireless, wired, Ethernet, all from these IEEE standards. Yep. So these standards are things that we use every day and don't even think about it. And that's part of that's the good part, is the idea of a network is to be able to seamlessly access resources without you having to think about it. I can pick up my device, I can access my Facebook account, internet, web browse, my files in SkyDrive, Dropbox, whatever. And again, it's seamless. I, as a user, don't need to know anything, but as people wanting to become more familiar with networking will learn that these are the standards committees that help make that happen.
Yep, they're the ones that make it simple for everybody to talk to everybody.
Okay. So now let's talk about the OSI, Open Systems Interconnect. This is what makes network communication possible.
Essentially, yeah.
Is this model. The model's divided into 7 layers, and each layer provides services above and below it. So let's take a look at these layers. We're going to talk more about them later, so we're just going to give real brief overviews of them here. Layer 7, application layer, enables users and applications to access network services. People do get confused that they think that this is, as a user, a program that I use to access network services. It's not. It's the protocol the program I'm using uses to access network services. So just to clarify, layer 6, presentation layer, translates data into a common format. So we talked about ANSI. Another one is EBCDIC, and these are basically keyboard formats. Maybe different computers are using different formats. The presentation layer can translate that for you. The session layer, layer 5, establishes a communication session between devices. We've all been on the phone with somebody who, they pick up the phone, you have your conversation, you've initiated a conversation with them, you've established connection, and then at the end of the conversation, they don't say goodbye. They don't end the session
cleanly.
seamless. Yeah, there's no clean. Yeah, they're just hanging on. There's dead air. You don't know what's going on. So they don't have a very good session layer protocol is the problem there. Layer 4, transport layer, manages message fragmentation and reassembly. Layer 3, network layer, this manages data routing and creating subnetworks. We've talked a little bit about subnetworks when we talked about LANs. Layer 2, data link layer, provides error-free transfer of data frames. And then finally, layer 1, physical layer, physical network media, and signal strengths. Now, this model may seem kind of daunting, but again, this is the model that enables network communication. And people are always like, how am I going to remember this model? So, Christopher, you had one that you use. Which one did you use?
So they're mnemonics. You can build mnemonics for this 7-layer system to remember what these are in order, hopefully, to remember. The one I had, there are a couple. The one that I've always known is all people seem to need data processing. Top down, all, application, people, presentation, seam, session, to, transport, need, network, data, data link, processing, physical. All people seem to need data processing.
Okay, can I give you mine now?
Absolutely.
Okay, so my one that I've always been fond of, starting layer 7 application layer, a priest saw 10 nuns doing push-ups. Politically correct? Probably not, but you're going to remember it, aren't you? There you go. You are welcome.
And just for fun, we also have one from the bottom up. If you want to start at layer 1, please do not throw sausage pizza away. Just in case you want.
Maybe it's about lunchtime. You're thinking about food. Please do not throw sausage pizza away. It works.
So the funny thing is, I've been in IT a long time. I know the 7 layers. I've known them the whole time. But I'm building this slide the other day, and I'm replacing, a graphic and turning it into an actual table so we can do more with it. And I actually used the mnemonic to write it out. So even though I know the layers, I'm like, application, all, process. I wanted to make sure that I had them all in the right order. So
right.
I referred to mnemonics I've been using for 15 years to.
They're really helpful.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of them.